I hope you enjoyed our walk-up music, just a taste of things to come. Thank you. For about 2 seconds, I did feel like a rock star, and it felt pretty great. So I hope you enjoyed the food. Our table was our compliments to the chef is all I can say. So every year, someone from my family calls right during the event, and it has been so embarrassing. So this year, I programmed my cell phone not to accept any phone calls. Well, actually, only one phone call from a special VIP just in case, because, you know, you can never be too certain on that. And, oh, no. Is that the CMU fight song? My ringtone? That means it's President Ross. How are you, my friend? I'm doing good. You're having good. Yes, so you want to talk about my raise later tonight. That's great. I'm okay with that. So how about after the event? That sounds great. So, oh, and I should tell everybody to silence their cell phones. Yes, I can do that for you, sir. So why don't we take some presidential advice and make sure that our silence our cell phones. Thank you. So, well, an event like this takes planning, hard work, dedication, and I'd like to recognize the following College of Business staff for their time and efforts on this event. Please hold your applause until the end, but then feel free to cut loose. We have our hard-working tech team led by Stanley Pope, Allison Osterdale, Kurt Behringer, and Kurt does all the videos that you're going to see tonight. From the Dean's office, we have Sarah Ransom, and we have Nancy Wargis. And from the development team, we have one of my favorites, Sandy Summer, the hilarious Julie Judge, and the always entertaining Cindy Howard. Let's give them a big round of applause, please. And now, I'd like to introduce to you the Dean of the College of Business. In his 7th year at the helm, Dean Crespi has shown great vision, great leadership, and a steady hand at the wheel. Under his leadership, I'm convinced that the College of Business is heading in the right direction. Let's welcome to the stage, Dean Crespi.
The best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine? Best is yet to come.
That's right, the best is yet to come. Good evening. Thanks, Mike, for those kind words. And let me extend my welcome on behalf of the entire College of Business to all of you present here tonight in this evening's festivities. We have many distinguished guests here. In fact, to go through the list would take entirely too long, but humor me for a moment while I mention just a few special people who are with us here tonight. Please hold your applause until we're through. It's my distinct pleasure to introduce President Ross and First Lady Elizabeth Ross, Provost Mike Gelt and his better half, Mary Janet, Chair of the Advancement Board, Jeff Seeley, Vice President for Advancement, Bob Martin, and my better half, Lee Secord Crespi. We also have with us this evening from the Hall of Fame class of 2014, Al Cambridge. Al? And from the Hall of Fame class of 2015, Karen Cook, wife of Robert Cook. Karen? Lastly, and certainly not least, I know President Ross and Provost Gelt will join me in recognizing the longest-serving senior officer in the academic division, Dr. Daniel Vetter, who will be retiring next month. For 3 decades, Dan has been the senior accreditation officer at the College of Business. Twice, he served as dean. He steadied the ship during the difficult financial times of the mid-2000s. He formed the first student investment fund in the College of Business. He was principal investigator in the largest grant ever earned in the College of Business. And he served as the moral compass of the College of Business for, these 28 years. Dan is one of the finest individuals I've met in my life in terms of honor, integrity, decency, and sense of vision. So Dan, you will be sorely missed. Would you please rise and be recognized? This year, we will celebrate the 125th anniversary of Central Michigan University and the 57th anniversary of the College of Business. We have much to make us proud at the CBA, not the least of which is our nationally ranked MBA program, our nationally ranked logistics program, our nationally ranked professional sales program, and our nationally ranked enterprise resource planning program. Our students represent the CBA and CMU in a host of venues around the country. They have put their stamp on the world in a variety of stages. They have done that by earning regional championships, national championships, and even world championships. And that would have not been possible were it not for the dedication, support, and mentoring of both the faculty and staff of the College of Business. I ask that all the faculty and staff of the college please rise and be recognized. I also ask that you take a look at the Exchange magazine on the tables in front of you to get a sense of just how far we've come and to get a sense of just how far we're headed. I hasten to add that the Exchange magazine documents the progress we've made on the renovation of Grawn Hall. We've made enormous progress this summer. We will finish next summer. We're well underway in building, and we're well on our way under our fundraising activities. So I would be remiss in my duties, and Mr. Martin would not be happy if I didn't mention that there's an envelope in the middle of those magazines, and don't overlook that if you would. This year's class of inductees into the Hall of Fame continues a tradition of really distinguished individuals. You know, it's often said that life is like a grindstone. It can either grind you down or it can polish you up. We're here tonight to honor two gentlemen who made their life's work not grinding people down, but helping them shine. This evening's inductees are very special people. They found joy in their life's work. But more important, they brought joy to the lives of people they touched and mentored throughout their lives. I want to say thank you for those of you who nominated worthy individuals for this year's Hall of Fame. Thank you to those of you who wrote letters of support for those individual nominees. And thank you to those of you who served on the committee faced with the daunting task of selecting this evening's honorees out of a cast of countless very worthy candidates for the position. And to the people here tonight, thank you for joining us, for celebrating the activities, performance, and lives of Doug and Dave. It's now my distinct pleasure to introduce, albeit electronically, Mr. Keith Goodwin. Keith currently serves as the head of the College of Business Administration Roundtable, and in that capacity, he is joining us tonight virtually. And he's with us in spirit. So take it away, Keith.
Thank you, Dean Crespi, for the introduction. Unfortunately, I'm not able to be there with you personally tonight, but I am with you in spirit. I had a personal conflict which kept me away from this year's event, but I do want to set the record straight. That personal conflict had nothing to do with the fact that at last year's event, after the event, I had to drive to the airport through a snowstorm to fly back to California. The College of Business Administration Roundtable was established to strengthen ties between the business community and the college. We're really fortunate to have a fantastic group of members who are impressive not only for their business knowledge and accomplishments, but also in their dedication to CMU and the College of Business. One of the tasks we look forward to each year is evaluating the many nominations that come forward for the new Hall of Fame class. Our charge is to identify one alumni and one faculty nominee. While there were many worthy nominations for the 2016 class, in the end, the roundtable unanimously forwarded the two names we're here tonight to honor. This evening's first inductee is Mr. David W. Underwood. Dave is our 2016 alumni honoree. Dave graduated in 1979 with a degree in business administration and psychology. He began his career with Burroughs Corporation and has held positions with AT&T Data Systems Group and Hewlett-Packard in sales, marketing, and management. Dave was named Director of OEM Business for TrueVision in 1989. In 1994, Dave, along with his business partners, took a risk and founded Integral Technologies. After a lot of hard work and great success, the business was sold for $52 million. Since he wasn't ready to retire, he started Exact Technologies in 2004. His down-to-earth demeanor and business savvy helped shape the business from the ground up and earned both a place on Inc. magazine's list of the 500 fastest growing private companies in America. While Dave and his partners sold Exact Technologies in 2013, he remains active with the group. He also currently serves as a vice president and general manager of Johnson Controls. Dave's companies have employed hundreds of people. His teams have developed common products and technologies that many of us use today, including the first digital video recorder. Dave credits his success to the opportunities that were available to him here as a student at CMU. His belief that a good education is an avenue to future success has led him to remain engaged with CMU and the next generation of business students. Now let's take a look at a video queued up for a more in-depth look at Dave's many accomplishments.
Hi everyone, I'm Robert Underwood, Dave's youngest brother. This is my wife Sherry, my son Justin, and we want to congratulate Dave for being awarded into the CMU College of Business Hall of Fame.
We are extremely proud of you.
You're a great uncle and you deserve it.
And we love you.
Dave's accomplishments have been many since graduation from CMU. And I think if we ask our honoree about his success and what it takes to achieve what he has, he would say it takes long hours, hard work, with little pay, and there's a high chance of failure. So you can't be risk averse. But if you're successful, the rewards are great. Not just financially, but in the satisfaction that you accomplished your goals and dreams.
On behalf of Megan and I, we want to send a big congratulations to you on your induction into the CMU School of Business Hall of Fame. As business school graduates ourselves, we know the hard work and dedication it must have taken for you to achieve the goals that you have to earn you a spot in this prestigious group.
I have been working at Exact Technologies for the last 5 years in sales. It's fun working for my dad and getting to work with the people that are excited to go to work each day. Dad, I want to say thank you so much for the job lead.
I had the opportunity to lead CID's investment in Integral Technology and to back Dave and Dave's team in growing Integral Technology into one of the very most successful security businesses that we've had the opportunity to work with.
Dave is good at many things. That stand out to me specifically as three things. One, Dave understood the go-to-market strategic value of combining the consumer and channel development needs and what those two entities felt were important. Second thing, Dave made decisions for success, not for popularity. And the third thing that stood out was Dave's leadership skill, which was to work hard and be kind.
He's always driven, and he had a lot of discipline. And he's a generous guy too, I say generous. And he was a cool guy. So
a story that comes to mind that Dave and I worked on a project, and it was a huge customer, and it was a huge opportunity. And as a sales guy, I wanted to be very aggressive. I wanted to get very aggressive with our pricing structure and get the deal. He held his ground on price, on many of the points that were negotiated, and at the end of the day, we got the deal. And I learned that you don't have to jump right in there and go after it with everything you got. It's the negotiated sale.
He has the winning recipe. He takes a small company with his partners and grows it into a very large, profitable operation.
The reason Dave should be inducted into the College Business Hall of Fame is that he has successfully founded 2 companies, each that ended up employing 150 or more people. In both of them, he led to successful and profitable exits.
I met Dave in the early 2000s. He served as an executive and resident speaker and shared his entrepreneurial experience with many of our students via a keynote. And then he also did classroom visits, and he really wanted students to understand what it meant and what it took to start a company and then grow that company into something that you could be proud of.
My wife, Cindy, she had shared a class with Dave that was called Data Processing 101. And back in the 70s, this was a class that was at the very low end of computer programming. And back in the days, you had to use a puncher that would punch cards for the program itself, for the Fortran language. And Cindy thought that that was very memorable for Dave, because now where's Dave at? He had started up 2 very successful software companies.
He grew up in Ann Arbor, was a U of M fan. And he says to me, he goes, "We got to go to a football game." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in, And anyways, he says, "We're going to I was a Notre Dame fan. Hey, we're going to go to the Notre Dame Michigan game." He says, "We're going to go down there, and you don't need a lot of money." And I've been scalping tickets, or buying and selling tickets, I should say, since I was in 5th grade. He says, "I'm going to go down the street, and there's another corner there, but I'll be back." So he comes back. It was about 45 minutes or an hour later, and he's got a handful of tickets. And he's looking at us like, "How'd you guys do?" And we're like, "Well, not good."
Nothing was given to him except he had a drive. And he married up what he learned at CMU with that drive. And he did it to perfection. And I am so proud of him.
He truly believes in this campus, in our students, and in this administration, and that's demonstrated by the time that he gives with his experience and his resources and his talents back to this university. And I'm proud to call Dave my friend.
You deserve it, and you have made your dad and I very proud of what you have accomplished.
Please help me welcome to the stage Dave Underwood.
Oh my gosh, that was unbelievable. It's like my career flashed in front of me. Wow, that was a terrific video. I'm going to load it onto my iPhone and play it every day. Okay. Thank you to Central Michigan University and the College Business Administration for creating this Hall of Fame award and celebrating this ceremony. It's truly an honor to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. I want to thank the nomination committee for selecting me, and to Sandy Summer, Julie Judge, and Cindy Howard for planning and organizing the ceremony. It's fantastic. All of the work that went into the videos, this video that you just saw, the photography, the dinner today. I mean, it was just this is an excellent event. I'd like to thank my family and friends for joining me. Over here are my family and friends. I'd first like to thank my wife, Janice, for being here and being my partner. My son, Michael, and his fiance, they're getting married in August, and they'd like all of you to come to their wedding. My daughter, Anna, and her boyfriend, Ben. Excuse me. My younger brother, excuse me, my younger brother, Bob, thank you. And his wife, Sherry. Where did Steve go off to? Oh, Steve's in the back. He's my older brother. He walks with a cane. He's a lot older than me. He actually just had hip surgery 2 weeks ago, and I'm very proud that you're up and about, and you were able to make this event. Thanks for coming. A lot of us had to travel and take a day off today, take a holiday or a vacation day to get here. And so I'm very, very happy that you were able to join me to make the celebration. I'd like to thank my friends and fraternity brothers, Tom Dutcher and Tony and Pellizzeri and their wives, Diana and Cindy. We're all fraternity brothers and sorority sisters together. And we actually had a blast while we were here. A lot of good memories. Janice and I are building a home up in Petoskey, and we spent a lot of time traveling back and forth, checking on the house. We've been building for about 18 months, and it's a 7-hour drive from Indianapolis to Petoskey. And we've been stopping here in Mount Pleasant to break up the trip. It's about a 4.5, 5-hour drive from Indianapolis up here. And we've been getting reacquainted with Mount Pleasant and CMU, and we've been really having a wonderful time. We joked that if we had our iPhones, a backpack, and a cup of coffee, we'd blend right in with the students. But we've really been having a lot of fun getting reacquainted with the university. Sandy Summers, when Sandy Summers gave me a call to let me know about the Hall of Fame, we had just returned from a trip to Michigan and visiting CMU. And I was very surprised by the honor of the Hall of Fame. In fact, I didn't even know anything about the Hall of Fame. Kind of embarrassed to say that, but I had not been on the website. Sandy said, "Oh yeah, it's a big honor. This will be the 4th year that we're honoring former students and faculty members. You need to get on the website and check it out." And so as soon as I hung up, went to the website, I was like, wow, I can't believe they selected me to the Hall of Fame. But it wasn't until Sandy sent me a YouTube video link of the 2013 event, Hall of Fame event, that Leonard Plachta and Roger Kessler were inducted into the Hall of Fame, that I really realized just what a special event this was, what a special honor it was to become a member of the Hall of Fame. I went back to the website, reread the bios, the biographies of all of the faculty members, Leonard Plachta, Lyle Wilhite, who was a dean, Dr. Robert Cook, who was a faculty member here for 35 years, and then the business executives, Roger Kessler, Al Cambridge, and Michael O'Donnell. They all had terrific, very successful careers, both academically and in business. But what was really impressive was their contribution back to the university. Their contribution and in time, talent, and treasure, raising capital for the university to build new buildings, new scholarships. They were on boards. They were doing a lot. They set the bar very high for the CMU Business Hall of Fame. A few weeks ago, when the 2016 biographies were posted to the Hall of Fame website, I had the opportunity to read and learn about Doug Isles and the impact that he had in the career of so many CMU business students. It's truly an honor to be inducted into the Hall of Fame with Doug and to meet his family tonight. I think you saw John Applin, who was one of our investors in both Integral Technologies and Exact Technologies, in the video. We were having a conversation about startups and just the risks of investing as an investor, investing in startups, or being an entrepreneur and starting a business. And he told me about a statistic that has stuck with me. He said that 7 out of 10 of their investments fail. You know, they put millions of dollars in, they lose everything. 2 of them return capital, and 1 of them is a success. And so his point was that it's a very, very risky business to get into starting businesses, both from an investor and from an entrepreneur. But it was because of my partnerships, our vision, our commitment to the business and each other, that we were able to succeed. And I know I wouldn't be here today receiving this honor if it wasn't for my relationship and partnership with Dan Brittman, Tom Buckley, Jeff Walters, and Jim McMillian. I'm sure you've all heard the saying that you're only as good as the people that you surround you with. Well, that was absolutely true with my career in starting businesses. I have one more thing I'd like to say, and I need to have you, Dean, to come up here before I wrap up. This is truly an honor to receive, but it wouldn't be complete without a selfie posted to Facebook. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed it. Fire up chips.
One more round of applause for Doug. Our second honoree is Douglas C. Isles. Doug is our 2016 faculty honoree. Doug always brought a smile to my face. Doug had a smile and a sense of energy that was infectious. He lit up a room. Every time you'd be around him, you'd feel good. We tragically lost Doug earlier this year, and today we still feel his loss. Doug began his career as a Merrill Lynch wealth management advisor way back in 1981 and formed the Isles Group 7 years later. Throughout his career, he was frequently recognized as one of Barron's top financial advisors. At CMU, he brought transformational change to the personal financial planning program, and he helped countless students start their careers. He channeled his knowledge of the financial industry to secure the Certified Financial Planning Board certification for the university, making it one of only 3 universities in the state of Michigan that have that. As a professor and dedicated mentor, Doug helped scores of students excel in the classroom and launch successful careers. He connected students with prominent employers, attending on-campus financial planning career events that he organized. He also launched a CFP boot camp to better prepare students to sit for the CFP exam. One interesting little anecdote about Doug is his guidance helped lead a team of students to compete at the Association of Registered Financial Consultants National Plan Competition, but not National Plan Competition, International Plan Competition. Doug mentored the team. The team entered, competed, and represented CMU well. But in this international competition, the team finished second. In addition to his many contributions to students and to the program, Doug leveraged his success and knowledge to advance the university as a whole. He served as a member of the Development Board, as chair of the Development Board's Investment Committee, and also served on the CMU Med School Fundraising Committee. I ask you to please direct your attention to the video screen as we share more about Doug and the impact he's had on business students and CMU in general.
There is nobody that was more passionate about what was going on at this university than Doug and this program. He took the program from a good program and made it into a great program.
He always had this like charisma. The guy always had energy, you know, and he was always like the rock that you could look to.
I guess when I think of Doug, he was just one smart dude.
When you think about your time at CMU and you look back, Doug Isles is what comes to mind. He's the definition of Central and being a part of the Central family.
He never finished his undergraduate up until well into his career. And the only reason he didn't, and it wasn't a very popular decision with his parents at the time, was he was getting some interview practice. And he was out there interviewing and interviewed with Merrill Lynch. And they loved his interview so much that they gave him a job offer. And they asked him when could he start. And he said, well, I have another semester left. I have a few more classes I have to finish. I'll be graduating in such and such a date, and then I can start. Well, that wasn't a good enough answer for them. They said, how about Monday? And he said, okay, I guess Monday it is. And he dropped out. And he went home to his parents and kind of made his first sale of his career and said, you know, this is the reason I went to college in the first place. I wanted to land my dream job in a phenomenal firm. I did that. I want to see what I can do with it. And he took it from there and ran with it.
You know, he ended up at this, I think it was Merrill Lynch, that he did this job, and then he was hugely successful. He didn't have to, but the way he explained it to me, because I didn't realize till he went back till later, because we're just talking Central grad and everything, but I didn't realize the Central grad when he's 22 or whatever, it's when he's in his 40s. He said that to me, he said, well, yeah, I just felt I had to lead by example for my kids. I can't tell them to do this and how important this is without me showing them how important it is, how important education was.
Doug signed up with our firm, Merrill Lynch, for a buyout program. It's something the firm came up with last year. And when I found out he was going to basically end his career, he signed up for a 4-year program, which means he only had to work part-time. At the end of 4 years, he was basically done. He was only 54 years old at the time. I called him and I said, Doug, you're still a young man. You have a very, very successful business. I said, it's very lucrative. You do very well financially. I said, I'm curious, why are you willing to give all that up at this age? And he said, to pursue my true passion, teaching.
Okay. Sitting in his class, he was so passionate about the subject and would come in there and get up there and talk with his hands and be like, guys. And he just loved what he did, and he loved helping people, and there's no doubt that he loved what he did.
He made learning this stuff fun for not just for people like me that genuinely enjoyed it just because. There were people who it wasn't necessarily their cup of tea, right? It wasn't something they were passionate about, and he'd deliver it in such a way that you'd see the light bulb turn on and the aha moment, and he was just incredible.
I love that somebody who's at the top of their game he continued to want to be at the best of what he was doing, whatever it was, if he's running his business or he's being a dad or husband or whatever it is, and he was always that person.
I think the reason I'm here today is way back in the early days of Merrill Lynch, this was a sole practitioner business, and there was no such thing as a team. And I will never forget the stories that I encountered of Doug actually having to get on a flight fly to corporate headquarters in New York City and pitch to the CEO at the time of Merrill Lynch the reasons he thought it was critical to begin forming teams. And Doug was one of the first financial advisors in the history of Merrill Lynch that brought a team concept to the table. Teams are now promoted within Merrill Lynch for the obvious reasons, but he was a pioneer in really transforming our industry, and I don't think very many people knew that.
What I would tell you about Doug is he impressed me as an individual that he really knew what was going on, being the financial planner and so forth, how to manage the endowment, how to maximize the returns, and even to take some risk and help the university increase the amount of funds that were going to be available. He had some great ideas of how donors could maximize their gifts to benefit the university.
I was impressed with Doug's investment savvy, but also his generosity and professionalism, which set a new personal benchmark for me to grow into.
He was truly a nice guy. That's kind of the bottom line. I know it sounds very simplistic, but he was just a genuinely nice person. I don't know that Doug had any enemies. I know he had a lot of friends. I don't know if he could, to me, that's a high compliment, to say you're a truly nice person and the people you associate with think very highly of you.
He really, I think, embodied that spirit of giving that I think he really passed on to us as his kids and his entire family. He was passionate about his career. He was passionate about helping his clients. He was passionate about life.
I've never worked with a gentleman more focused, more professional, more intense, and it certainly made me a better business owner and a better person because of it.
So Doug had this unique ability to make you feel like you were the most important person in the entire world.
Just gonna miss him. It was just so great to work with him, and I'm just gonna miss him.
He made it clear, not directly but indirectly, that without his wife and then without his kids, he would never be where he was, which I think is beautiful.
At this time, please help me welcome to the stage Ryan and Sandy Isles to accept this award on Doug's behalf.
Sing your song, moving every day, going further on. Lead your way, keep on strong. Moving every day, going further on.
Well, thank you, first of all, everyone, for being here. As I stand here tonight, I feel a lot of emotions, pride, nostalgia, sadness, a lot of other conflicting and mixed emotions. Never in a million years did I think I would be standing here tonight, humbly and gratefully accepting such an extraordinary honor on behalf of my father. I would have only expected to be here with him, accepting that honor himself. In order to give you a better flavor for where these emotions are coming from, I'd like to quote an excerpt from something my brother Jeffrey wrote on social media a couple days ago leading up to this event. I think it sums up very well what myself and the rest of my family and those that were close to him have felt in this void that we felt throughout this year since losing my father. And here it goes. When the ball dropped and we rang in the new year, January 1st, 2016, I was hugging my family, telling them I loved them, watching the fireworks from a balcony. And that, by the way, was one of the most beautiful scenes I think I've seen in my entire life. It was a panorama of fireworks everywhere, but in the tropics. But life was normal. 2016 was going to be a year of incredible memories and great milestones, especially for Jeffrey and Kristen. Instead, it has been a year of heartbreak. That night and any night before or after, I could never have anticipated unexpectedly losing our dad this summer, nor our grandpa only several months later. As I go about my business day to day, I'm constantly struck with the empty void of knowing that half of the pair that was my biggest motivator in life, to make my parents proud, is missing for the rest of my life. I can no longer tell Dad about my fears, my aspirations, and my accomplishments, something that I always lived for. Sometimes life can be so absolutely and unforgivingly disheartening, and sometimes I have no way of reacting to such asymmetric pressure other than to simply break down. And then I push onward, because if there's anything my dad taught us, one of them is surely perseverance. I think those words really encapsulate how we felt with this void, losing our dad in such a sudden, unexpected way on Memorial Day this year. I also think many others, both here tonight and elsewhere, can share at least some portion of that same sentiment about their own experiences with Doug. I'm sure that his students often felt that same sense of responsibility to make Doug proud. He had a zest and a passion for everything he did, or he didn't do it, and he expected the same attitude from others. It was very rare to see him quit or do anything halfway. After all, he learned by repetition from his parents, once a job has begun, never leave it till it's done. That's the attitude he brought to his classroom and the entire program that made him such a natural-born educator and leader. It's our hope as a family that everyone here tonight, along with everyone else we all touch in our daily lives, could live half as optimistically and wholeheartedly as Doug did. If we did, we could all accomplish wonderful things in life. But it's a difficult task to do justice to Doug's life, or even the portion of it that was involved here at CMU. But I think the video already did a pretty great job of that. And kudos and thank you to all those that were involved in making that so wonderful. I'd like to at least attempt to scratch the surface a little bit deeper, though. Doug loved his time here at CMU. He spoke fondly of his time here as a student many years ago, even if his path wasn't a traditional one. He also spoke affectionately about his time serving on the CMU Foundation Development Board, along with the professionals he met and relationships he formed. The same was true of many hours he spent planning for, shaping, and directing the fundraising efforts of the CMU Medical School. He was passionate about these things and many others, but what I think he was most passionate about was the people he met and the relationships he formed along the way, especially with his students. As an adjunct faculty member, Doug started as the low man on the totem pole, just like anyone else would. But I think people grew to respect him because of his big vision for the program in which he taught. As a small subset of the College of Business, the personal financial planning program certainly was not the most prestigious of the many programs offered inside CMU's beloved Grun Hall. Doug had a bigger vision, though. That's what drove him to grow and develop the program, but more importantly, his relationship with students. I had the privilege to experience this firsthand almost 6 years ago now. As a student in his capstone class, as we referred to it, one of the most difficult and rewarding throughout my entire career at CMU, I might add. And to this day, I still hear new incredible stories about the direct impact Doug had on particular students' lives and eventual careers. As a family, we encourage people to continue sharing those stories, as it can only help us to keep his legacy alive in our hearts. Throughout his tenure as an adjunct faculty member, I personally love watching him weave through the politics that are inherent in almost any workplace, and how he used his own skills in motivation and persuasion to create positive change within the program. No offense to this fine educational institution we all love, but Doug's desire was really to cut through the academia mindset, as he always referred to it. He wanted to bring the real world to the classroom. And as cliche as that may sound, it was true. When Doug wanted to create change, he wasn't arrogant about it, but he certainly wasn't quiet about it either. Change, positive change, was exactly what he offered for students that loved him. Doug was known for being one of the few instructors that taught the vast majority of his classes without an actual textbook. Instead, he offered prevalent articles and white papers written by industry professionals, insisting these would serve their purpose far better than any textbook would. In addition, Doug shared real-world stories, experiences, and practical knowledge with students, but didn't follow a PowerPoint or a pre-planned lecture outline. That didn't mean he wasn't prepared, but these methods just weren't really his style. He even went as far as creating brand new classes that would directly benefit students as they enter the financial service industry after graduation and make them ready to tackle some of the industry's toughest licensing and professional designation hurdles immediately after graduation, which for many is unheard of. In addition to just telling students, Doug also tried to show them what the real world was all about in very practical ways. He created a career night geared toward providing a forum for students to interact with seasoned professionals. He also led students on trips to New York City where they witnessed the inner workings of the financial world firsthand, and even led a small group of students, as you heard about, to succeed nationally or internationally in a simulated financial planning competition. I think most here tonight would agree that Doug made his mark permanently on this program and its students, although many of his plans were still in their infancy when he passed. To say all of this, though, without acknowledging the people who helped, supported, and directed him along the way would be a grave mistake on our part, though. So on behalf of my father, we'd like to thank people like Dean Crespi, Dan Vetter, Jim Felton, Cindy Howard, Tia Walsh, Sandy Summers, Julie Judge, Frank Hackett, Ken Cherry, Mark Van Voorhees, and even University President George Ross, to name a few, many of whom you saw in this video. There are many other people, faculty, students, and others who crossed paths with Doug in one way or another, big or small, that also helped him get acquainted, guide his path, and back him up when help was needed. For that, we thank you, and I hope you all know who you are. On behalf of Doug and our entire family, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you to everyone who's behind making this incredible honor a reality. And lastly, I'd like to say, fire up chips. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me as we raise a glass to celebrate the 2016 College of Business Administration Hall of Fame. Dave Underwood and Doug Isles. Hear, hear.
Well, now you know why it's one of my favorite nights of the year. Once again, I'm inspired, and I'm really proud to be a Chip. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, it is my honor and privilege to introduce and welcome to the stage the Marquis of R&B, a.k.a. also known as the 16th President of Central Michigan University, Dr. George Ross.
If
It was a teenage wedding and the old folks wished him well. You could see that Pierre did truly love the mademoiselle. And now the young monsieur and madame have rung the chapel bell.
Thank you, Michael. Good evening. It's an honor to be a part of this year's College of Business Administration Hall of Fame induction ceremony for Dave Underwood and for Doug Alves. I want to take a moment to do a couple of thank yous. I want to thank the students who were playing music for us earlier this evening. We had Mitch on bass, Ethan on piano, and Donovan on sax. I don't know if they're still here, but give them a round of applause. I also want to recognize the family members of our honorees. To the Doug Alves family, to Sandy, to Ryan, those moving remarks about your dad, to Kristen and Jeff and the other family members. Recognize Dave Underwood's wife Janice and his son Michael and Anna and your family members. We welcome you here tonight for this special occasion. And while the First Lady has been recognized, many of you know that on occasion I mess up and forget to recognize her. So, sweetheart, Elizabeth, the First Lady of CMU, welcome. And we've already heard that Jeff Seeley has joined us tonight, but what you don't know, two things that weren't mentioned. Jeff is chairing our advancement board here and a leader in our major comprehensive capital campaign. And what you don't know is that Jeff traveled 27 hours from Australia to be here tonight to honor his friend, Doug Alves. Thanks for being here, Jeff. CMU has a long history of preparing the business leaders of the future. Back in 1892, in that September Monday morning, when we were founded as an education for education and business, the founding programs of the Central Michigan Normal School and Business Institute. It was the vision of businessmen like Samuel Hopkins, Charles Brooks, Isaac Finch, and others, early leaders whose names graced the front of buildings and signs across campus and across this community. These visionaries who realized that if Mount Pleasant was to grow and to prosper, an educational facility was critical. Their vision and tenacity, the same spirit we see in our faculty, in our students and alumni, including our inductees this evening. That spirit is part of the reason that we are here to present these honors tonight, this evening, to these outstanding gentlemen. When our school was founded, it was a business venture that raised money to fund the creation of a normal school that became a teacher's college, that became a state university, that became CMU. Today, current College of Business Administration students and graduates alike are putting their stamp on the world as interns and employees at businesses throughout Michigan, around the country, and throughout the world. These students and alumni are leaders, solution seekers, and strategic thinkers who are strengthening our communities and our economies, all the while carrying the values of CMU with them. We have much to be proud of among our faculty, our students, our staff, our alumni, much to be proud of regarding our College of Business Administration. We continue to be the North American leader in SAP certification. Now, last year, many of us watched as students using SAP at our annual ERP Sim event were offered jobs or internships on the spot at that competition, a testament to our curriculum and the quality of our students and the quality of our faculty members. As mentioned earlier, nationally ranked in logistics, nationally ranked in sales. Our sales students once again returned from the Phi Sigma Epsilon National Sales Competition which top honors. I learned earlier tonight from Jeff Seeley and Dr. Concha Allen that this is about the 10th year of the start of the sales program at CMU, and you'll be commended to how much we've grown to national recognition. And as the dean mentioned, the renovation of Broad Hall, the oldest operating building on our campus. I know that because Chuck Crespi keeps reminding me of that. Opened in 1915, more than a century ago. The project is expected to conclude at the end of the next summer. We'll provide students and faculty with upgraded classrooms, new study spaces, and the latest technology. I want to thank all of you who have contributed, and those of you who will contribute. Please see Bob Martin, or Sandy Summer, Dean Crespi. Elizabeth and I will be standing outside the door with the bucket to make that project go over the top. Once again, our Hall of Fame inductees also are examples of the great things happening at CMU and the power of our graduates to go out and to change the world. The caliber of this year's inductees serves as a testament to the commitment and to character of both of these gentlemen and to the prestigious nature of this award. Dave Underwood, an innovative leader on the forefront of technology that touches the lives of people around the world and right here on our campus. Even with his success and his busy schedule, Dave still has taken time to be a mentor to our students and to the young professionals around him through the Executive in Residence program and the events such as the New Venture competition. Dave, thank you for the ways in which you have given back to CMU to make our campus better, to make it a safer place through technology and your companies have created. And thank you for the example of excellence, ingenuity, respect, and compassion that you set for our students and for our young alumni. Doug Iles, a beloved professor and mentor, a great alumni and a friend. As many have heard tonight and have mentioned during the program and in conversations, Doug Iles, who left us too soon when he passed away earlier this year, was someone who was always there for his students. He stayed connected with many of them, even after they graduated, to offer sage advice. He's been described not only as a professor, but as a parental figure, instilling important lessons on business and life in and out of the classroom. Like Dave, Doug embody what it means to be a CMU Chippewa. So to his friends and family here tonight, I want you to know that Doug is and will continue to be dearly missed by all who had the honor to know him. Doug and Dave have built incredible, lasting legacies in their professional careers. They've also symbolized the College of Business Administration's rich history of inspiring and preparing young men and women to be leaders in the business world. They're role models. They're role models for the next generation of leaders who follow in their footsteps. We're eternally proud and grateful for the impact that they have made, not only in their profession, but on our students, alumni, and on Central Michigan University. Please join me again in putting our hands together in appreciation of our newest inductees to the Central Michigan University College of Business Administration Hall of Fame, Mr. Douglas Iles and Mr. David Underwood. We thank you for joining us this evening. And Michael, you're closing the program? You're welcome to. So as Michael comes up here, I have to explain something. So a couple of years ago, Robert Barkley, who listens to the Juke Joint on Sunday nights? Robert is the Duke of Juke. We know that. Well, I was on the show, and I spent the whole show with him, and we played some blues and some R&B. And I thought I needed a handle. I thought I needed a name. So in my office, a woman who works with me named Robin Harris, she started looking at lineage, you know, kings, queen, princess, dukes. And we decided the Duke needed to be above what I would be because it was Robert's show. And she discovered that Marquis is a rank in the royalty beneath Duke. So Robert's the Duke of Juke. And that night I became the Marquis of R&B. So that's what that was all about. So thank you very much, Michael.
Before we bring the evening to a close, I want to remind everyone that it's time to nominate next year's Hall of Fame inductees. If you know someone that is deserving of this award, and there are many of them out there, many here tonight, please take the time to nominate them for the Hall of Fame's class of 2017. In previous years, we had the honor and privilege to induct Leonard Plachta, Roger Kessler, Al Cambridge, Lyle Wilhite, Mike O'Donnell, and Bob Cook. Tonight, we've added Dave Underwood and Doug Isles to this prestigious list. 2017, we're going to keep the magic alive and add two more people that have had a tremendous impact on the world. If you haven't already, you really need to see the Pranger Recognition Hallway located on the first floor, the north side of Grawn Hallway. The Pranger Recognition Hallway is spectacular. It features great information on our college, on our programs, but most importantly, it shines a spotlight on our honorees in a meaningful and engaging way. I recommend that you visit it sometime in the future. It is well done, and it's only the beginning. Well, the moment has come. It's time to close the event. As you know from our inductees tonight, that we got to listen to Hall of Famers living Hall of Fame lives, having a positive impact on the world. We listened to stories of our inductees following their true passions, working hard, being disciplined, taking risks, and being kind. And that they stressed to us that a good education is an avenue to future success, and if you do all of this, then you can live a life that you're proud of, and that the rewards will be great. And as you now know, that describes our two inductees tonight to a T, because at CMU, that's how we roll. Before you close your eyes tonight, let's reflect on these great men and all of their accomplishments and feel the pride to be affiliated with CMU. I thank our inductees for showing us that the American dream truly is alive and well. But tonight I want to throw out a special challenge. To challenge the audience that let's take our inspiration, let's take this feeling of being renewed, and let's go out and live Hall of Fame lives ourselves. Let's all go out and make a positive difference in the world. It has been my pleasure to be your MC tonight, and I hope you're as inspired as I am. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening.